That's Normal.
Oh,
Yeah,
at least here it is.
exactly.
Ah,
So we are
cold
here
read.
with Malcolm Barrett. I'm sure I said it wrong again.
No, that was it. You nailed
All
it.
right, I nailed it.
Yeah.
So,
Four
and
syllables.
he plays the scientist whose name is not Wyatt or Lucy.
It's Rufus.
Thank you.
Done all the research.
I'm like, I just watched the show, episode 2, last night. So I'm like, can we redo? Let's redo. We're here with Malcolm Barrett, who plays Rufus Carlin, the scientist on Timeless. And you are actually from Brooklyn.
I am.
And so I wanted
Born
to
and
see how excited you were to be at New York's Comic-Con.
Oh, it's great, man. It's really a homecoming for me. You know, one, I'm a big nerd. I went to Comic-Con 2 years ago as a fan. Had no idea I'd ever be a part of being on a panel with a sci-fi show. My mom's here. My brother's here. 2 or 3 high school friends are here. A couple college friends are here. So I was able to. I'm sure I put publicity through the ringer, just constantly asking for tickets of like friends and family members because it's my homecoming, you know, and it's been awesome.
Awesome. So if you could say like one favorite New York thing for viewers, what would you say?
My favorite New York thing, like in general, I love the ability to see anything. You will always be entertained in New York. You will not be bored any time of day. That is what I would love about New York more than any other place. It doesn't matter what time it is. You will find something interesting or someone interesting. You'll be walking down the street and you'll be like, I didn't know I was attracted to really short Asian battle rappers, but apparently they're here on 38th Street, and I think they're hot. Like it's amazing. Like, and you can only get that in New York. This sort of individualism of all types of people, and it's what I love about growing up here.
Awesome. So jumping to the show.
Sure, why not?
It's very like pointed, like obvious, plain spoken about race relations. And your character is pretty involved with that, obviously. What were your thoughts when you're reading the script?
Oh, I embraced it. I loved it. I was so happy to see it. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of shows they just avoid it. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the sci-fi genre, of the time travel genre. And one of the things that's hard is that we're very rarely a part of the conversation. Minorities are very rarely a part of that time travel genre. I think because writers don't want to deal with that part of the conflict. You know, they're happy to deal with all these other conflicts of the complex how does time work, but like the simple thing of like what it's like to be black in that era or a woman is too much for them. And so having writers who I know have experience of dealing with sort of cultural issues and the Shield and things like that and dealing with people and characters in real life, having that as a foundation was great and dealing with the obvious. Here's the thing. The fact that it would be hard for me to travel back in time is not new to like people of color. Like it's not a new concept. But the fact that we're talking about it on television is groundbreaking for something that is so obvious to so many of us. And so that was a great opportunity to have this thing that is talked about in real life and in barbershops and everywhere else, to bring it to the forefront and make it a part of everyone's vocabulary as opposed to just us minorities or just anyone who actually thought about it for 30 seconds was an amazing opportunity. And I'm also the type of individual, I run towards socially relevant material. I run towards talking about, what's happening in the now. I'm not afraid of it, and I'm also not afraid to disagree or be disagreed with. I had a fair amount of ad-libbing in that whole jail scene, and I didn't want it to be a speech about greatness. Me and Eric didn't want it to just be, and why it wound up being an ad-lib thing is we didn't want to just name great stuff. We didn't want to just go, here's some great black people and this and that. Like, I loved saying those things about Mike. I loved saying the OJ thing, and I knew that's not everything everyone's going to agree with that, or like that's not necessarily everyone's opinion or one opinion, but like I was like, I love that. I love that I'm going to say OJ did it and we don't give a fuck. Like, I knew it's controversial, but it's like it strikes a chord that I thought was meaningful, and so that's what I love, and I think that's what's interesting. Abby has said this, it would be weird if we didn't address it, and for me, that is weird. It's weird to whitewash all of these things for these things that I very much understand in real terms, and so it'd be silly if, we tried to go back in time and didn't address race and didn't address sexism and all these other aspects. And you shouldn't run away from it. Writers shouldn't stop writing things because it's hard, and so these guys are very capable, and it's always been a conversation in terms of how we deal with the character, not just along racial lines, but in terms of what he cares about and who he is and what he's going through. And the same happens with all the other actors in regards to the writers. And so all of it's been an amazing opportunity to create a very interesting character.
All right. And one thing I like about him is that he's sort of a spy, but he's very reluctant to do that. I hear that there's going to be an Ian Fleming episode.
There
is there any, like, more spy action we might expect from Rufus?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.